Hey friend, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Wendy and I'm with Inspire Ministries, and I'm so glad that you're here today. Today I want to talk to you just about something that I ran across, something that I didn't even remember that I had wrote in my journal several years ago, but a concept, a way of thinking that I believe will almost be brand new thinking for you. Maybe you've never thought about this before. I know that when I had this thought in my head, I knew that it was from God because it was not something that was natural to my thinking process. It was not natural to how I normally think. And I remember walking through this thought process with the Lord several years ago. And when I ran across it this morning in my quiet time, I knew it was something that I wanted to bring to you today. So I don't have a lot of notes about it, just simply what I've wrote about it a couple years ago. And I think that this is going to be inspiring for you. And it's going to be challenging for you to even begin to wrap your brain around thinking like this. But I think that what the Lord desires for us is for us to begin to think differently. Not to think the way that the world thinks, not to think in terms of how the world would think or how the world would view something is acceptable. So I believe that this is a video that is going to encourage us, inspire us, and challenge us, of course, to be better, think better, and ultimately live better lives. Now, I don't know what made me think about this years ago, but I remember reading through some commentary, 2017 or 2018, when I came across something that sparked this thought process to begin in my brain. And I remember writing it down in my journal. So what I did this morning is I went through all of my journals so that I could find where was it that I wrote this down, and I found it. Can I read it to you? It simply says this. And again, these are my own words. This is what I wrote in my journal on this particular day. I said this: we always say that we don't want people to take us for granted. We hear complaints a lot, like, she is taking advantage of me. And we think things like, I wish that they would just appreciate me and stop taking advantage of me. In fact, recently, I said this to myself, I heard someone say, they're just taking advantage of me because I am a nice person. Okay. Think about this. I want you to go somewhere with me today. I'm going somewhere today. Maybe, and I want us to think about this, just maybe it's a compliment to our consistency if people take us for granted. Now go with me here. I know that this is a long shot, that people might not fully understand what I mean by this, but I want us to go somewhere here. Because listen, you know you're doing a good job when others stop telling you you're doing a good job. Why? Because it's began to be something that they simply expect from you. That's all. And isn't that ultimately a good thing? Let's think about this for a minute, because again, I know that this is one of those things that is so challenging for us to wrap our brain around, even myself. Here is a scenario that I want you to think about. Say that your sister calls you to pick up your children again from school because once again she is late and running late at work. She's having a long night, and again, this has happened many times before, and she's just calling you to see if you can do it again. The fact of the matter is, she's called you because she trusts you. She knows that you are never late. She knows that you love her children just as much as she loves her children, and she has confidence in you driving around her precious cargo. She has faith in you, and she loves you, and she knows that you will drop whatever it is that you're doing to be there for her kids. All of this is going on, and all you can say is, she's taking advantage of me because she knows that I'm going to say yes. She's taking advantage of me once again. Yeah. I mean, it's true. In part, it might be true, but can I ask, what's wrong with that? To be the one who is trusted, to be the one who is dependable, to be the one that has love and compassion for other people, to be the one who is faithful and consistent. It's okay. I mean, isn't it okay to be the one that's taken advantage of in that way? And of course, I am by no means advocating that you put yourself in any kind of abusive situation or that you continue to be in an abusive relationship where taking advantage of means something completely different. I'm simply asking you and myself to consider thinking differently. about asking God for a different perspective, choosing to see the good, choosing to believe the best that we can, and then celebrate this and receive it as a compliment to our character. In Matthew 5:41, Jesus exhorts us here, and he says this: if anyone forces you to go a mile, go with them 2 miles. What is he saying? If they've asked you to go with them because they believe that you will and because that they trust your character, prove to them to whom you belong by going more for them than they even thought you'd be willing to go. Be okay with being taken advantage of. Listen, they took advantage of Jesus, of his goodness, his kindness, his mercy, and his love. Do you think that you are free from that kind of treatment? Is this hard? You bet. Sometimes it's nearly impossible for us to even consider being taken advantage of. Most of the time, we think it's the most repulsing thing for someone to take us for granted. But look at what it says in Matthew 7:14. The gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. Can we be the few? I know I want to be the few. And in order to be the few, I believe that we have to start thinking differently, behaving differently, having a different mindset than the rest of the world. Can we live like Jesus? Just maybe it's a compliment to our consistency if others take us for granted. If you are one that is depended on, if you are the one who is dependable, if you are the one that says yes, that doesn't put up a fight, that doesn't argue, that doesn't complain, that doesn't just murmur under your breath and is resentful. Maybe if you are that person, it speaks to the godly character that you possess, and maybe, just maybe, it will actually point to Jesus more than anything else in your life, so that others, when they see you, can actually see him. Have we ever really thought about that before? So think about this. Think about how we can allow ourselves to refuse to be disappointed in people, to refuse to be annoyed when people think that we are just always the one who says yes, and consider it as a compliment to our godly character, a compliment to our consistency in faith, our consistency in love and serving gracefully other people. This is a new way of thinking, friend. I know it's not easy. It is difficult. It's challenging, but the ways of the Lord are. Remember, narrow is the gate that leads to life, and very few people find it. Can we be the ones? Can we be the Jesus people who find that narrow gate and walk the way of Jesus Christ? Friend, I hope that you have liked this video. If you did like it, I pray that you would give it a huge thumbs up. Share this video with someone who you know and love. I pray, friend, that you would subscribe to this channel, that you would become a part of this family, that you would hit that notification bell to be notified for every time that I upload content just like this one, because I consider you my friends. Do you know that every single time that I get revelation like this, or if I think about something, or I run across a scripture that just is illuminated on the page for me, and I just am so overwhelmed with what it means to me, I think about you. I think about bringing it to you and sharing it with you, my friends. And it is the first thing that I think about, is sharing it with other people who can appreciate these kinds of messages. I pray for you, friend, because again, I know these things are challenging, but they are challenging on purpose to strengthen our faith. Friend, I pray between this video and my next that you would have an awesome day with Jesus. Bye, friend.